And welcome back to Westmoreland on the Gridiron. We're now joined by the head coach of the Franklin Regional Panthers, Greg Botta, after his team improves to 3-1, courtesy of a victory against Connellsville area. Coach, congratulations on the good start to this season. You've won a couple of games via high-scoring affairs, sandwiched in between a low-scoring shutout against Bethel Park. Through 4 games, what have you seen from your team? How have you evaluated your team's play?
Well, we opened up with a lopsided loss against Gateway, and there's a lot of things that contributed to that. That one, number one, that was our first contest. We had no scrimmage because of a problem we had with Kiski and the possibility of COVID. So going into the first contest against another opponent, we weren't really prepared. That opened our eyes to a lot of things we needed to work on. Went to Fox Chapel, had a really good second half against them, and then had a really tight game with Bethel Park, to where we were 4 times in the red zone and came away empty. But last week was probably one of the best first halves that we've had all year long. But we still haven't put together a good full football game, and we're going to have to do that against a very physically strong and talented, athletic Woodland Hills game. So, to answer your question, basically, we've gotten better week in and week out.
One of the big things with Franklin Regional is typically running the football with success. And I know in 2018, you kind of went to more of a pass-first approach. It seems like, at least through 4 games, you have a pretty good balance this year. Do you think that can be sustainable, where you both run and pass the football at a high level?
Well, let me state this first of all. I have a new offensive coordinator, and I went after him. He was the head coach at Charleroi. He coached me for a couple of years, something very similar to what I believe in. So, Lance Getsy's my offensive coordinator. I love his mindset. I love how he balances the run and the pass. The offense is very deceptive, and we have a number of talented young men that we try to get the ball to. So, that's a belief that I've had, and he shares the same one. We strongly believe in the defensive part of the game. That's what I tried to build this program on 27 years ago, and we showed it against Bethel. We did a pretty good job against the high-scoring Connellsville team. They scored 40-some points because everybody didn't play. So, we just got to try to get better at both sides of the ball. But, really our special teams has been strong all year long. And people don't usually talk about that. But, Coach Solito has done a real good job on the special teams. And the kids have been playing really belief that they can contribute. The kids are on that.
When you look on the offensive side, everyone first looks at the quarterback, and you have a returner in Trevor Brinshick, who earned a lot of reps a year ago. How have you seen him grow?
Well, it's funny you talk about that, Sean, because he and I sat down yesterday, being coached up by Coach Getsy, number one. And Lance Getsy, his brother Luke Getsy, he's the quarterback coach for Aaron Rodgers. So, he gets a lot of information from him. But what Trevor said to me was, Coach, the game slowed down. The second year, it doesn't seem to be as fast as it was last year. He had a really bad interception to TD ratio last year. He's only thrown 2 this year. I know his touchdowns, I don't know the exact number, but I know it's much higher than 2. And he's progressively reading what he needs to do in order to complete passes. But we have 4 or 5 talented young men on the receiving side of the ball, and that also helps.
One of those players is Mario Sarnick, and I know he had a very scary injury late last season. Good to see him back and seemingly performing at a high level. When a player goes through that, what kind of role do you play in their recovery, both physically and even more importantly, mentally?
Well, number one, his mother's our booster club president. And she's a single mom who really cares about her kids. And I was in the hospital with them right after surgery for a long time. And it was a bad injury, there's no doubt about it. But he's a physically and mentally tough kid. He's a wrestler. And I love to have a team of wrestlers, I'm just telling you. They're just tough kids. And that's the way Mario is. And he was determined to get back. 10 catches against Fox Chapel. Only had 2 last week, but they were big catches. And he's the type of person is. He returns punts. I think punt return is probably one of the hardest skills in football. So he enjoys that. He relishes the opportunity to put the ball in his hand. And he's played a really good week safety for us, too.
Talking to Greg Botta, the head coach of the Franklin Regional Panthers here on Westmoreland on the Gridiron. Coach, the 3-1 start certainly important, but when you look at that, you're just 1-1 in conference play, and it looks like some of the toughest opponents, as you mentioned, are coming up. What's key to having success in the Big East?
Well, number one, consistency. You know, I told the kids yesterday, and I kind of jumped almost kind of a lackadaisical practice. I said, look at the teams you beat. What's their record? Look at the teams that you have to play. What's their record? And I said, you know, we got to be consistent in our play. We got to really study our game plans. You know, execute. Football's a game of mistakes. You got to make the fuse. We can't turn the ball over. And we've done that. We've had, and I don't know if people keep stats, we've had 10 interceptions this year. And that shows you the amount of talent that we have in the secondary. And a lot of that is the heat that we're putting on the quarterback, too, the pressure we're putting on him. We just got to keep our mindset, understand the next 3 games will determine if we get in the playoffs or not. It's just the old cliche, take one at a time, focus on a talented Woodland Hills team, and try to come away with victory. This game here and the Latrobe game are 2 very, very crucial games coming to the forefront.
And you talk about Woodland Hills. I had a chance to see the Wolverines Friday in their loss against Penn Trafford, and their quarterback really likes to throw the deep ball, super athletic, but he was mistake prone with a number of turnovers in that loss to the Warriors. When you look at him and the Woodland Hills attack, what's key to having success?
Well, that's good points. Number one, containing him. Number 2, be able to tackle him when he starts to sprint on, where he doesn't have his receivers open. And number 3, you know, I think one of our strengths is our secondary, obvious by the number of interceptions we have. If we put pressure on him and he throws it up, I feel confident our kids will be around their receivers, mark it down, or have the possibility of intercepting it. But we're not taking this team lightly at all. You saw them, you know what they can do. They're very dangerous. We've had 4 games on them. Penn Trafford is an elite team. That score is no indication of how bad Woodland Hills is, because you know I hold PT up there in an upper echelon of teams. So you know, we got to throw that game aside and look at the other 3 where they're very explosive.
And Coach, obviously you talked about the fact that you could not have your scrimmage against Kiski area as a result of COVID. We've seen Gateway have to suspend its season briefly. When you look around, not only your conference, the entire WPIAL, but the country as a whole, how much does it make you appreciate football and enjoy coaching these kids?
Well, you know, this is something that we've all talked about. You know, we as coaches are pretty good friends in our conference and outside, and we all have gone through a very difficult time with our Zoom meetings back in March all the way through to the beginning of the summer in order to try to start this up. And, you know, it's a difficult time this whole country's going through, and hopefully we'll get through it soon. But it gives you a love and appreciation of the game. And I was hoping to get 5 games in this year. It looks like we're going to do that. If we can get 7 in and make the playoffs, that would be even better. But, you know, I know that our senior group, especially, we had senior night last Friday, and it was a great night. Parents were able to come and see their kids for the first time. And I'm sure the parents and even the grandparents and some of the brothers and sisters were just ecstatic about seeing them. It's a great game. It's a game that I love, I truly believe in, and so we can continue this and get through this and have maybe next year a complete season.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and good luck the rest of the way this season.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Sean. Thank Westmoreland Sports for what you guys do for us.
That's Greg Botta, the head coach of the Franklin Regional Panthers. We'll take a break and continue right here on Westmoreland on the Gridiron.